All right, so far we're in the green here, and just gonna do over and check and wait for YouTube to go live. All right, things are looking good. So far, 15 seconds and still 0 drop frames. Let's see if I can edit a scene during. Oh, nice! Look at this, very cool. All right, so now it's live on YouTube. We'll see if the chat reacts, and then we can get started. All right, what's up, y'all? Okay, so sorry for the technical difficulties. Only 10 minutes late, you know. Whatever. Let's get started. So we had a bunch of submissions, which is really great. I better start up Resolve again, since I had to basically unplug everything and plug it back in. You know, the magical way of fixing things. Unplug everything and plug it back in. Is audio, our audio levels good for everyone? I guess I should ask. They look a little bit low on my end, maybe. Bump up the preamp a bit. But I'm also sort of all over the place, you know, as far as my relationship to the microphone. All right, we'll just pretend that like no actual projects got shown there, and the live stream is up. All right, cool. Sounds fine to people. All right, so let's see. I recognize some of these names in here from footage being sent over. So we'll start with, I think, Bao. Is that how you say your name? Bao? Sorry, if your name is any more not American than like Jack Smith, I'm going to mispronounce it. And I apologize. I'm good at other things, I promise. All right, so where do we save this? We save this in the cache drive and the live stream footage. All right, so now this is a handy little tip. Normally, if you want to normally you'll select all your stuff and you'll bring it in, and you'll see it doesn't retain the folder structure, which is really annoying. But if you select all your all your folders, you drop them over here in the bin area. Look at that. And let's see, we got Bows first. This was my favorite clip that you had. I thought this was very cool. Very, very music video-y, and I like music video stuff. Okie dokes. So we're just going to go ahead and drop it in. This is just a random 1080 project. Let me turn off this sound because I don't think it's very important. And let's see. Let's see how it is, man. Okie doke. Find a cool frame. And so I didn't get any direction for this. I just, you know, assume make it look cool, which is cool. I like whoever's glasses are in here. They're cool glasses. And I also like water stuff. So you see this shot's a little overexposed, but that's fine because it's like a nice big airy shot. You sort of lose some detail in the sky, but that's fine. I think it would be cool if it was there, but you know, sometimes it's not there, and that's fine. So one mistake that you'll see people make with this sort of footage is it's meant to be bright. It's overexposed, etc. We'll pretend that Bao had an ND filter there and decided not to use it, which is probably what happened. But you'll see people, they'll take their curves or their lift probably, and they'll want to make their blacks all the way black. And you see that looks very bad. I would recommend against that. Technically, people think these scopes are correct because the whitest parts are at white and the blackest parts are at black, but that looks bad to me. Don't just automatically do that. I mean, this should be darker than it is, but you can just pull it down a little bit. And really, this is something that I've been sort of playing around with in my head, especially with as I expose my own footage, is do you expose for the scene or do you expose for the subject? And I guess it just depends on where you're going with the footage. If you're just going to be editing it and it's not going to have a big color process, I would say expose for the subject, because that'll make it really, you won't have to do a bunch of stuff to get to where you want to be, to where you're going to be. And that's what Bao did here with exposing for a subject. So, you know, whoever this guy is, you know, he's pretty much where I think that he wants to end up being luminance wise. Streaming sure makes computers laggy, but there it goes. So see, so he looks pretty good there. You know, if you look over at our vector scope here, or waveform, it's looking pretty good. So we're just gonna sort of make the scene fit around him, I guess. So that's exposing for the subject. Exposing for the scene would be making sure that the histogram's right in the middle, and then that's good for if you have more time in color, because that'll give you the most detail to play with. But also, if you're working with lower bitrate footage and lower bit depth footage, it's sometimes better to still expose your subject. That's a whole video on its own. Let's get to grading this footage, because this is what everyone here, because that is what everyone is here for, I guess. Sorry, I can't edit out my getting too excited, but we're just going to sort of go ahead and start contrasting this up a little bit. Get our shadows down about where we want them to be. So I say there's like a pretty natural place for those shadows to be. And we'll increase the saturation a bit. And I like that for most of the scene, but I want the skin to stand out a little bit more. So this will be a pretty easy key. We'll get some of the rocks in this, I think, but that's fine. So I'll hit Alt-S to create a new serial node, and then we'll go and we'll key. It's like this. I'll hit Shift-H so I can see what I'm doing. See, this is pretty compressy footage, which is fine. You'll deal with that if you're any sort of a working colorist. You just have to be a little bit less aggressive with your keying. So we're not going to try and make it perfect and beautiful. We're just going to sort of get it close. I'm going to reduce some of the low saturation stuff. Oh, excuse me. I have to like actually move away from the microphone now. I can't edit out my burps. I just had a bunch of barbecue. All right. So this is probably fine. Like I said, we're not going to go too far with this because it is, there's less detail there. It's compressing your footage. But we got that. We will increase the contrast a little bit. We'll see if that works out, just to sort of bring him out. You see, that's already making it look a lot better. We'll bring the pivot back down because we did want his skin to be pretty bright. But we also can't move it around too much. Increase the saturation a bit. That's too much. But you can see there's some artifactiness on the arms, so we'll try and expand the mask out some. See if we can get it happening there, and we'll blur it a little bit more if we can. Just see, because once again, I mean, that is sort of doing more than I thought it would. But you can see how much that's sort of putting some light on our subject there, making him stand out from the background, which is pretty cool, I think. And playback is not going to happen while streaming, I guess, and with compressed footage. I probably should have like generated optimized media first. Okay. Now I decide which frame to start grading on. It's not a very scientific thing. I sort of just go until I find one that I like. So, this one, you probably will have to do a little bit of dynamic stuff with it, or I guess you could, especially with these keys. But you see, yeah, there's not really a science. It's just sort of, I go for it, and that's how that happens. But for here, we can go to corrector 2, add a keyframe, or enable keyframing. Actually go down to our qualifier and add dynamic keyframe. And then we will scoot more to the beginning of the film. And I can see we've lost a lot of our keys, so we'll bring back in some of the lower saturation that we lost. I'll call that good enough. Now I want more there. We'll bring in some of the highs. Oop, not that much. This is going to get a little bit noisy, so I really try and avoid these clean black and clean white and black clip and white clip controls because they always just make things worse to me. So I'll try and bring this back as much as I can. Bring in the, whoop, that's going to get real noisy. I could always mask this out. That's looking pretty okay to me. And now we lose the side of his face there a little bit, so we'll just keyframe again. We can use this little additive tool. See, that's going to add way too much, but we'll see what it did. Oh, so that's just saturation. So we'll bring the low saturation down a bit. Let's see if we can even reduce the width here of the hue, because that might be part of our thing. We could get some of the waves out of there. Maybe not. I think I already said this, but it would be better to just add a qualifier around him. But I don't think there's going to be too much noise. already I think it's looking a whole lot better. If we before and after, and especially with this little key there, just to make him stand out some more. Sorry about the artifacting there. That was supposed to be fixed in a more... Do I have the most recent version of Resolve? I don't think I've installed the most recent yet, because I'm working on a project that is pretty hefty. But all right, so we've got that going. It's pretty cool. The skin seems a little bit off to me, so I'm going to add another node. And hey, this is great. People have been asking me to grade other ethnicities besides just pretty white girls. So, you know, this will be good. But it's the same approach. Everyone's the same color on the inside, basically. Hue versus hue. And yellow and red. The whole skin tone area. And we'll just sort of tweak this around. It looks a little bit green right now. So just tweak it up a little bit. Add some magenta in there. It's a little sunburn, so bring it back down. And just little moves there. Really, you could probably do that inside this node, but it's such a little adjustment, and this way we make sure that we get everything in there. It'll be pretty nice. So we can see before and after, just a little adjustment there. Bring them back in. Nice. And we'll go to hue versus saturation. I'll bring the water up a bit, just because I know we all want to see it. That's pretty nice. And that's nice in tealy blue right now, which people will like. That's really pretty. So I guess the next thing that I really see with this is it still looks a little bit like flat and papery. I'm not sure what this was shot on. It kind of reminds me of like S-Log, sort of the A7S feel, especially the paperiness. Whoa, look at all these comments. Is it better to use the parade or the vector scope, especially for highs and lows? It's best to use your eyes. For highs and lows, vector scope doesn't do anything. Vector scope is just saturation. So that'll be your parade. But really, basically just use your eyes. Don't go too far with it. Can I move up for the webcam to the upper right and make it smaller? I sure can. Smaller. Upper right would be better. Nice. There we go. Cool. There we go. All right. S-Log 2. Nice. Called it. How do I isolate the grid on the subject? For that, let me unclick here. You just go to your qualifier tab and you click and drag. You make a selection, and that will isolate the image. And all right, looks like I'm basically caught up on questions. So to fix this sort of paperiness, I will probably go into the curves and just sort of, I call it remapping the gamma on my own. That's sort of making me sound like I'm more important than I am, because you're just basically tweaking things around until it looks good. So I'm just making lots of little points on the graph. And so I won't be talking much during this because this takes a little bit of looking at the footage. But you can see what I mean by remapping the gamma, like making my own curve for it. I think it's mostly in the shadows that we needed it. And this is also not very scientific. I just sort of go up a little bit and move the point around until it's where I want it to be by looking at the image. I'm not looking at the scopes at all right now. This is all just looking at it. So that you can see we get a lot nicer shadow detail on there. And I will probably, just for fun, let's try and just add contrast to the whole scene. That's too much. That's looking good. We need to, it's gotten a little dark and gloomy again, so we'll bring the pivot down. And we'll bring the saturation up some. I probably could have done this earlier on, but since we already have the key, Just do this there. All right, that's a little bit too much saturation, I think. That's pretty bright and airy looking, which is kind of nice. I sort of like the color. I wish that there was a little bit more contrast, but I think I'm afraid to do that. I can just do it locally. I was afraid to do that because that'd be too much in the whole scene, but we can start adding qualifiers. Boop, boop, ba-da-bum. So I'm not going to go through tracking this just because for time's sake. But here I'm just going to add more contrast just to this area. This will make him stand out. Tracking this would be pretty simple. But since this is compressed footage, I don't want to deal with going through that. And then Alt-O to create an outside node, and we'll just sort of darken around the surroundings a bit. That's too much. That's okay. And then, because I know we all want to see it, Alt-P for a parallel node. You don't really need to make this a parallel node, but I just want to do it. And once again, this will be something that you track. And I will send you this power grade bow so you can do this stuff if you want to. I'll bring the gamma down, bring the lift down, and that'll just bring some of the detail back out of the sky. Let's see. I guess I'll do it with curves. How does that look? Yeah, I will do it with curves. Okay, so just to see what we have here, that's a lot. So that's about where we want that to be. Bring that down. It's a little bit stormy, but you know, we can always back this off some. There, and then since this is a little bit sunsetty, I wouldn't mind giving us some color contrast by popping our gain a little bit warm. This might be a little bit, oh, that's definitely too much, but this might get a little bit stylized for you. I'm not sure what you're going for with this. We'll do it with the gamma instead. You can go pinky purple. That's a little better. But just to sort of bring some of that back, we might even bring the gain up this node a bit. It's too much. All right. So we'll also bring the midtone detail up some. In this sort of more general thing, we'll make it like 20. Because I like midtone detail. And there you go. I think that is, you know, I think decent for our first one. All right, C.S. Wilson, you get a lot of noise when you color grade. Is it compression, like blocky noise, or is it like grain noise? Because compression noise is just grading too hard and working with really compressed footage. Grainy noise is just sort of also the camera's fault, but a different way. Yeah, I think that this circle qualifier is a little bit much still, but overall, I think we've got a pretty good start. So we can just go in here and probably just feather it out some more, yeah. Cool. And then also, just for fun, you can take this out. But, so the sun is there-ish. We'll just add in a fake sun because I'm bored. I'm not bored, but, you know, why the heck not? It's been a while since I've done this. There we go. Fake sun. All right. I don't like that. Take it out. Cool. All right. So I'll call this good for bows. I think we spent a good little bit of time on it. Covered some fun stuff. And we'll go over, I saw some other familiar names in there. So we'll go into our media page. Call this bow. And we scroll up. Who is this? I saw this name in here. Yeah, there you go. You see your footage. All right, so next time I will definitely create optimized source, whatever, Add new timeline. Name it later. Drop this in here. So this footage is cool. I like this a lot. You got this old guy that comes up and just like stares at the camera, if I remember right. Yeah. So this is pretty like, that's pretty cool. So once again, I don't know what you're going for with this. It's a pretty cool vibe already. We'll mainly just sort of make some things stand out. Let me edit this until it's like a little bit of a story. So we'll just have this guy walk on screen. Look at it and walk off. Very cool, very modern, excellent. What was your name again? Is it said Asiel? ASIAEL? Republic of Asia. I can say that. I'm not going to stabilize this just because that is a job for Premiere, I think. You can stabilize it in Resolve, but especially with this shot, it'll be annoying. We're just going to do color grading. I'm not really sure what I want to do. The only thing I know for sure is I want to just sort of remap the luminance to get the focus on our guy here. So I'm just going to start with that. This is sort of not a great thing to do. I'll track it to give me some time to think and read the chat. That's embarrassing. That's embarrassing. All right, so we'll manually track this. So the fastest way I found to manually track is going to frame mode, and then we'll automatically put keyframes down. You don't have to worry about going to the keyframe editor. And very cool. And then you can always adjust the shape later on going into your clip mode. So there's that. We basically got it. Very cool. All right, so we will add some, warm up his face a bit just so it stands out from, that's too much. Warm up his face just a bit so he stands out from the background some, and then add some contrast and pivot down. And since he's an older gentleman, we can feel free to add a little bit of mid-tone detail. And then bring up the gain some and the gamma some. We're going to go a little bit stylized with this. So Alt-O, I'm going to bring the rest of this down. And then we'll just sort of give it a little bit of a vibe. There's not too much we need to do with this, I don't think. This sort of feels like B-roll in a documentary, I guess. So, you know, probably won't get the hero treatment. It's just sort of this one thing. Like, people who smoke are smoking. And then off, back to talking head. But we will give it a bit of a vibe. If this was B-roll for a documentary, I'd probably just, you know, start off with one of these. Oop, those never got released. And this is a little too much, but I think that's sort of what we're going for. Yeah. But we'll do it a different way. I feel like this is a little dark. We'll bring up the gamma some. That makes this guy way too bright. And add some saturation here. I don't know. There's just something about this shot that I want to change, even though I don't really need to, because like it feels pretty good. So I'm just going to sort of play around until I figure out what I want to do. Ooh, y'all can't tell what I'm doing. So I'm just checking. I've got this little thing is connected to my monitor. So I'm just sort of checking this in different color spaces to see if there's anything that the footage has that I can't see in sRGB. So right now you can't see, but I'm viewing this in Adobe RGB, and I can see that there is stuff there that I could bring out. This monitor is the BenQ SW320, and I'm sort of on the fence about it, to be quite honest with you. Ooh, black and white. That is a good idea. I think that is what we're looking for. Bring the reds up, blues down, greens down. So play around with these until we got where we want to be. Blues up. That's kind of cool. That ultraviolet look. Cool. And since I'm guessing that our client here does not want it to actually be in black and white, we're going to just sort of make it a really desaturated deal. So, layer mixer. But I do like black and white street photography. That's my favorite part about going to Jason's Deli is I have like some pretty good street photography on the wall. That's how I learned cinematography, is through street photography. All right, so we're going to bring this down some. That's pretty gritty. Yeah, you're right. Who suggested that? Max. Very cool. We went more orange and teal. I mean, haven't we seen enough orange teal? I'm gonna hit Control Y to create a new version. Control N. That's not what I want. This. Okay. So we want to make this orange teal. We could use a LUT, or we could just quickly. I made a tutorial on another orange teal, which is coming out tomorrow morning. So this is basically my default way of doing this now, or we're gonna do the other default way. That was a funny noise. So I'm just gonna select the shadows. I don't want this to be a layer mixer. Yeah, I do want this to be a layer mixer because I'm just gonna select the highlights actually. Here, that'll make less work for us. Shift H so we can see what we're doing. We just want this. Yo, Shift H. Okay, so just want our skin in there. This will be a good shot for that. And we'll soften it out a good little bit. And we'll blur it. Shift H. And now we'll make this warm. It's too much, but we want it orange teal. I'll make the background cold. I'll make this a little bit nicer looking by bring our highlights back some, not that much. We should probably do this in log. So bring our highlights back, or we'll just undo the temperature and we'll do the whole thing here. Or be even smarter, Theo, to just deselect the very brightest parts because we want those to stay their correct color. And high soft. And now I can make this warm again. Shift H. That looks bad, but that's fine. And we'll add some more contrast down here in a different way. And we want let's see here. So, sorry, not explaining myself. I want another layer behind this so we don't pollute our highlights. So I'm just going to make this our behind layer. This layer 2, this one on top. I'm doing this with layer mixtures instead of parallel nodes just so I can have this sort of control with the background. So now in this node we can take away the highs, and that will make our sky not blue anymore, which was really grossing me out. And we can take away some of this down there. Not that it really matters, but it makes me feel good about myself, which is important. All right, so now we got that orange teal look. What I'm using to shoot my webcam right now is my Blackmagic Cinema camera 2.5K. You know, so pretty good webcam, I think. I've got, yeah. If you got it, use it, right? I mean, why not? No autofocus. Psh, maximum usable ISO of 800. Psh, that's fine. I got plenty of light in my room. None of this is like light. It's all, I keep my room very bright all the time, which these grades will probably end up a little bit funny looking because it's a lot of light in my room, and this is a matte screen. I'm not really used to matte screens yet. I've had this monitor for like maybe a little over a month, so I'm still sort of getting used to it, especially with the lights on. But you know, oh well. Orange teal. I mean, I think that's a pretty orange teal look. I feel like this needs to be sharper. I'm not sure if it's the, yeah, it might just not be super sharp to be, it's not bad, but just sort of the camera being compressy. Yeah, one there, that's pretty nice. Another thing we can do is we'll just make everything else less sharp. So lens blur, we'll make it like 1.2, 1.8. Then let's add a vignette after it. Oh, I know what I'm going to do after this. I'm working on a project right now, and I showed the director a light rays plugin. Some people involved in the project might be watching right now, lurking. They are known to do that. So I'm going to add some light rays to this as a homage to this project that is hopefully wrapping up soon. This was going to be a vignette, though. Light rays will go before the vignette, I think. Or will they go after? They'll go before. So this will just be to isolate our subject even more. We're going to move this down at the offset because I saw someone else do that the other day, and I was like, that's very cool. We also want to make it an actual vignette. There we go. And now, Shift-S, we'll add this before. Light rays. There we go, light rays. The stock light rays plugin for Resolve is pretty bad. I need to see if there's a way to get Trapcode Shine installed, because I've got Shine for After Effects and I love it. It's like one of my favorite plugins. Length all the way long, a little bit soft, brightness way down. Add some orange so it looks sunsetty. Sunsetty. Ooh, and another cool technique would be to, I'm not even like paying attention to the grade. There's just some cool stuff going on now technique wise. So I'm going to add a layer mixer node. Sorry, Republic of Asia, that I'm admittedly like not paying attention to what's going on now. But that's fine, right? Right? There's educational value in stuff. This is going to be very cool, I promise. Well, conceptually it will be very cool. We'll make light rays behave a little bit more like shine. There it is. All right, so now this is our light rays plugin, and we're going to change this output to light rays alone. So now it's just our light rays. I'll make them a little brighter so we can mix them in darker later. So we've got that, and now I'll add one after that, and now we can make, look at this, make the darker parts a different color, and we'll do this with the gamma instead. we'll do this with curves instead because that's not working for me. So blue, we'll add blue in the bottom. We'll take away red from the bottom. We'll add red to the top. And we'll take away blue from the top, which will make it yellow. And there's too much green in these, just in general. So now we get more different colors going on with our light rays, which will be cooler. We can brighten them up even more and then just darken them down in a bit. Cool. So now if you get, yeah, that's why it's coming through. Okay, now we'll change this composite mode to add and Shift H again. There we go. Now we get more interesting looking light rays and put these into a compound node so we can reduce the opacity on it. And now we got some fun little light rays in there. Woo! All right, so I don't know if this is what you're going for. But I had a fun time making it. I really like the black and white look the best, I think, and we have that as a version. So if we turn this guy back all the way up, we can even like add some more mid-tone detail because you can get away with that when you're doing this sort of look. So make it like 50, something too much. Yeah. And then we'll just make it even brighter. And even darker. This is real contrasty black and white. So this is probably, whoever gave that suggestion, I like the black and white look the best. But we did, whoever suggested the orange teal also. So, you know, whatever you like. 2 grades for 1. Control S. Let's move on to the next one. Shooting in sRGB is totally fine. Defocusing the rest. Yes, I did that. Sorry, just catching up. I should probably move this into a place where I can see it better. There we go. Shout out from Dubai. Whoa, man. Dubai. Cool. Comedy sitcom look. I'm not sure if I have any comedy sitcom footage in here. And yes, my name is German, Aziz. Good stuff. You can probably say it right. Meissner. It's of all these Americans saying Meisner. Okay, pros and cons of making the orange teal using color wheels or temperature. I feel like whenever I use the color wheels, I always pick the wrong color. I've gotten better at it, but using the temperature thing is just a really quick and dirty and easy way to get like pretty decent colors. The blues could be a little bit tealer and the oranges could be a little bit orangier. But if you're just going fast, you know, I feel like this is something you could see on Netflix minus the light rays. I've been watching Dirty Money on Netflix. I feel like you would see this as like some B-roll. Blur everything except the smoker. You wouldn't really be able to key this very well. I have right now tracked his face some, so I just have a little bit in an outside node, just blurring it a little bit. So I never really go above 2 on this because you don't really want it to look like fake bokeh, because even though it's like a pretty decent lens blur effect, you know, it'll just be too obvious. But if you just sort of do it a little bit, it makes it feel less like the rest of the image is out of focus and more like the in focus bit is more in focus because contrast is important. There we go. All right, we got a request for the Brian Farmer folder next. Let's do it. There it is. Very cool. Oh yeah, the Blackmagic pocket camera. So it's gonna be rude. I think someone's giving me free stuff. Oh, I should probably like disable push bullet. No, I don't want those. Okie doke. Okay, so yeah, beauty look. You had like a funny email too, if I remember right. But so we got these. The grade you sent me looked. Whenever you shoot a pretty girl, you automatically get an easier job because pretty much no matter what you do is gonna look good. Because It's only filmmakers that watch movies. Normal people watch what's in movies. So you can get away with a lot. It took me a long time to realize that. For a long time, I was a purist, and I was like, I'm going to shoot like garbage cans and stuff to make them look good, and no one cared. And then, you know, I just gave up and shot pretty girls. I was like, oh, okay. I don't have to do any work, and people think I'm a genius. Perfect. All right, so you got this. Bring these two in here. Very cool. You had like a split screen effect going on, if I remember right. So let's do that real quick, because that'll be a fun thing. So, oop, don't need to zoom. And move the position over. There. Then we can work on both these at once. Move the position over there for this one. And even though we don't need to, we'll be cool and add a key to this one and key out the brighter stuff. Shift H. So just get that. And then we'll add an alpha output. We'll put this here. Go back to edit. You're not going to work for me, bud? So alpha output not working. Do we need to flip this? That would sure be annoying. Would sure be annoying. Nope, I guess we're not doing that. I don't feel like messing with it. We'll just make these into a compound node. Or not compound node, compound clip. You goob. Now I can work on both of them at once. Very cool. So, I mean, right off the bat, it's shot well. She's a little bit greasy looking. But it is like pretty much beauty lighting. It'd be nice if there was a little more underneath her, especially for under the eyes and stuff. Looks like it's just a light up top. So if you get a bounce underneath her, that'll fill that out. But I don't know what your job was on this, so we'll just do color stuff. You get that. Her face needs to be brighter. Control Shift W, right? Yeah. So I know that there's a chart somewhere. I made a video for another color grading channel. Ghost wrote it, as it could be, and they talked about how there's like specific values that stuff should be at, but I don't remember what they were. But I think skin was like around between 512 and 640. So we'll see if I'm right there. And if we bring this up to around 512, yeah, so that feels about right there. Getting the skin in that sort of range. And then we can bring our shadows back down a little bit. But we don't want them too dark because it's a beauty piece. Everything needs to be really high key. So we bring our saturation back up a bit. And his skin looks pretty nice and natural. Except the light is a little bit. It looks like there's some like window light and then some sort of LED that you're lighting her with there. So the natural light is a lot sort of bluer, which is causing some issues. So we won't be able to like get rid of that, but hopefully, oh, these are D&Gs, right? Decompose. I'm going to quit with my cute idea of doing both of them at once. I'm just going to do one of them because I remember these are D&Gs. So hopefully that means that. Whoa, what? Oh, that's what happened. That's funny. So yeah. Okay. So we can fix white balance a little better. And we can do exposure this way. So bring the exposure up a bit until we get our skin in about that range that we thought. Look how much nicer that is already. And so I'm just going to do one of these clips, and we're going to, just for us, go to generators, solid color. White. Oh, there we go. Pick screen color. That's what I want. That did not work. All right, we'll just go all the way white. Cool. And now we'll move this so she's in the middle, just so we can see what we're doing. Should check up on the chat. All right. Do I have any sequence for color grading, like boost saturation first, then contrast, blah, blah, blah? I'll normally do, in like big real color grading jobs, I'll normally go through all the clips and I'll sort of match them to each other and get a uniform like exposure and color and everything, and make them all look good, especially scene to scene, camera to camera, etc. And there's not really a lot of, it's all sort of primary adjustments there, so I can get that going. And then I'll go through and do the actual grade. So that's more of the workflow rather than first increase the saturation, then increase the contrast or whatever. Make sure that you do your primary stuff that you're going to get dialed in first before the stuff that you get dialed in can go before your qualifications, and then anything that'll change more can go after that. Because if you change your primary and then you have your qualifiers after that, that's going to screw up your qualifiers, which will be annoying, which is why you use serial and parallel nodes and stuff mainly. But it goes back to this. So we've got this as shot. We'll actually drop this back down to 0 because I see that we have a little more ISO we can pump up. The native ISO of the Blackmagic Pocket Cinema camera is 800, I believe. Highlight recovery, just in case we need it because it's easy to turn on. So yeah, so that feels like about the luminance that I want for this. Ooh, my throat's getting sore. I am not used to talking for more than like 10 minutes a day. And guitars are for guitaring. I'm in Nashville, so good to have toys around. And this rack is all audio stuff. So interface, D to A, A to D, preamp, compressor, guitar stuff, more A to D, power. Down here is a patch bay and more power. All right, so now we're going to get back to doing the actual job. So white balance, custom, increase the saturation some. Ooh, that's too much. It's right about there. I feel like the white balance is on. It's just that darn window light that's shooting you in the foot, man. Let's get these matched. And are there also overhead lights in the studio that you're at? Maybe, because it feels like you get about 6,000 Kelvin here, like 54 to 56 here from this LED. But then there's also this sort of warmer fall off that's going around. Like there's maybe 54, 4,000 like fluorescence or something. Not sure. Could just be talking out my butt. But we can, but we can do stuff with this. So we will, especially since there's like nothing else in the shot, we can really focus on what's going on. So we'll take our blues and our hue versus hue. Make sure, yeah. Let's see. It's not really picking up anything. Because I guess those are more grays than blues in here. Oh yeah, you're seeing them as that. That's not what I want. All right, we have to do it a different way. Do it the hard way. Good old beauty work. Just going to select a couple different parts of the skin. We're going to add them all back together. All right, and we'll just blur this to heck. And we'll Alt P. We'll work on that one later. But for here, we're going to warm it up just a bit. And it also needs to go a little bit more magenta. There we go. So now that's fitting in. Same color. I'll go to the next gradient. And that will be this LED light. So get that. And sorry, I'm being quiet. I'm like concentrating and stuff. Right, and this we will make a little bit magenta. And a little bit warmer. Now we can bring this one back up a little more, so a little warmer, a little more magenta. And this one we can blur a little bit too. And we still got the blue happening around here. That'll be pretty hard to get rid of. But hopefully not too bad. And then we might, this one doesn't bother me as much because it looks like lit, but Alt P. When working on, okay, catching up with the chat. Deathgram, yeah, I went to school for audio engineering. Audio engineering was my first real job in high school. I produced a radio show. Then I went to Nashville for school, and then I was the only audio guy with a camera. I became a camera guy pretty quick. I did camera stuff in high school too, but I was mostly an audio guy. One keynote behind the camera and high. That makes sense. So that's probably 5,400. Danilo, fun name. When working on longer projects, do you start matching luminance and then color, or do you work on both in the same, both on a shot at the same time? I work on both at the same time because the one sort of affects the other. So I'll normally pick in a scene one shot that I like the most, and I'll match all the other things to that. And you can do that, this little button up here, and then you can do selected clips. And then if you're in your clips page and you have more than one clip, you can shift select other clips and just work that way, which is very nice. The auto gain and auto low, I never use because they'd never do a very good job, I don't think. You know, whatever. I will, Aziz, I will end up pumping some highlights, especially sort of giving it that beauty-ish vibe. I'll help us smooth stuff out. But right now I'm getting the skin all the way matching, especially this shadow here is the next thing to work on. So Shift H, yep. And we'll select. Why isn't this? There we go. So there's that. right, so hopefully that will be good enough. So this mainly just needs to be a little bit warmer. That's too much, and it needs a little more magenta as well. So we still have some little shadows in there, but overall, you can see the skin's a lot evener. I don't think I'm going to try and change this a little green over there, because I think we're pretty much there. The whole skin is looking a little bit magenta. Referencing actual skin is always good, even if, even if yours isn't very fantastic, it's still a good reference. So right now I'm a little oranger than her, so I might, go ahead and start working on this. All right, so we'll just do some overall things. I'm not going to change any more camera raw settings because that will screw up these keys. I'm going to do this out here, and I'm going to warm it up just a bit, right about there. And obviously her skin's going to be pinker than mine because she's a pretty female. And that's what happens. Ooh, another thing I could try. I haven't never done this before. So that means that I have done it before. But I wasn't really happy with the result then. But this could be, hit Alt-L because I'll probably end up doing it like that. Use the color compressor. And that will help even this out as well. So the target color will be that, and then compress the hue. And compress the saturation. Okay, so that looks really bad right now, but we can make this work. So hit Shift H, Shift S, Shift H, and since we'll have a really easy time selecting our skin, let's do that. Nice and easy. We will reduce the low saturation stuff and the very high saturation stuff, aka our lips there. Oh wow, got way up there. There we go. Now we'll use that key there, and we will invert it. Invert it. There we go. And then we will make these into a compound node because I did it backwards. I don't feel like undoing it. And we will change this to color. Now, reduce the output just a bit. But all right, there we go. Yep, the eyes will be sharpened. I'm not going to sharpen the skin. I'm going to do the Theo frequency separation technique. I spent a long time breaking down an actual Photoshop frequency separation technique in Resolve, and it didn't work at all. And then I figured out an easy one. I think I did a tutorial on this. I don't think I called it frequency separation because I was scared that high-end retouchers would come and attack me, because it's probably not technically that, but it does the exact same thing. But that's coming on later. I'm fixing colors first. This is beauty work. It takes a long time. I mean, the colors are basically there. We can, check the math in case. Yeah, I guess it could be a little bit yellowier. So that would be less blue, which would make sense. Or more blue. That doesn't make sense. I guess we'll try more blue and see if we do like that. Do not like that at all. Try with the curves. I think what it's really wanting is more magenta. So I'll call that good for now. I could actually, wouldn't mind it being even a little bit brighter. And we'll do this with all the curves so we get a little more saturation in there as well. Keep it low. Yeah. All right. Cool. Now the Theo Meissner frequency separation special is, and I will go ahead and do this in a compound node. And I'll do a quick little experiment. Open up this compound node. Show compound node. You learn something new every day. Take this alpha output. Look at that. Very cool. Nice. All right. So I can take this. Very cool. So you can take the alpha output of a compound node and pipe it into something else because we already took that skin key from before and I didn't feel like doing it again. That is not what I needed to press, but it didn't do anything bad, so I'll just leave it. Cool. So now we get this. I don't think this really needs a LUT Aziz. You know, I might put one on so people buy some, but this is going to be pretty au naturel. I've got some that might work for this, but I mean, this was really shot really pretty nicely. Even though it seems like we're doing a lot to this, you know, really fundamentally, I mean, it's most of the way there. It's just beauty work is really, you know how girls are, you know, with their stuff. And it's a really competitive field because, I mean, who doesn't want to work with pretty girls all day? All right, so mid-tone detail down, not that much, about there. And now we will bring this there, and it's going to move the scopes off to the side because I'm not really using them right now. It's not working. I've got 2 4K monitors and 3 1080 monitors, and the scaling between them is super annoying. There we go. So now we'll bring our, really just keeping it down is probably good enough. Bring our mid-tone detail back. See, that's too much, so we can bring it down even more. You see, especially in a little poresy area, that's really getting that frequency separation look. So if we make it like all the way down, that's obviously too much. If we bring it back here. So especially losing detail around here is no good. But back. There we go. So there's that. And then I was going to say I don't mind how flat this is, but I kind of do. So Shift H, we will can you hear my teeth clicking there? That'd be funny. Saturation. It won't be saturation, will it? It'll be the middle of the luminance. So you know what I do when I pull a new key for this? So take it off. I almost went to Germany a while ago, Aziz. I do a lot of video stuff for a German metal band. I was going to go to Wacken, but now I'm just editing the footage from Wacken. It's a fun time. So, yeah, we're going to, because look how bad that looks, select our skin. By bad, I mean the grade. Let's get all this in here. And then we will reduce this, some of that out of there. Reduce this. And blur. we go. That's a little nicer. So I want to bring this, make this a little bit less. I'll probably do this with the opacity. There we go. That's looking nice. This I should undo a little bit. It's too much. All right. And now we will go ahead and, as requested, sharpen up some eyes. And since this is just one thing, I can go ahead and do it this way, because I won't have to track it. But tracking is really not that big of a deal, especially because I don't think there's, yeah, in the reference video, there wasn't like too much movement, so it wouldn't be that big of an issue. But we get this, and this. I always feel like this is like what people like to see when they see color stuff, like the really hardcore things. The clients are like, whoa, you're tracking the eyes? Well, yeah, sometimes you got to do that. All right, so we get both these. And then since we have this here, we'll increase the contrast a bit. I'm going to turn that off so we can see what we're doing. And bring the pivot down. That is way too much. Way too much. We'll soften both these out some. So I need to bring this back on bacon. All right, there's that. And then gain up just a bit. Cool. And turn this guy back off. This is maybe a little bit much, but we could bring the, yeah, add a little more contrast. Make those eyes real engaging. And then we'll add sharpen. That's way too much, but we're going to bring the detail amount down. There. Detail size down. Fine details. Let's make sure I'm not making this worse. Okay, yeah, that is nice. There's that. That's pretty engaging. This area here is still a little bit over smooth, so I'm just going to go ahead and, you know, manually just invert this and inside, outside. There you go. And you would track that. There you go. So now I get some detail back there, which is very nice. We can reduce the opacity a bit. There we go. All right, cool. So now we have a technically pretty okay shot. Now we'll give it some life. How long have I spent on this shot? Jeez, I'm having fun with it. Already been streaming for over an hour. Good for me. Good for me. I need a nap. Okey-dokes. Aziz, I was just going to ask that same question of, is there a way to copy the circle over? There probably is. Can I Control C, Control V? Can I Alt drag? Can I Control drag? Can I right click? Can I Control right click? Ooh. Can I copy window? Paste window. Did that do anything? This would probably only work in... Oh, look at that. I can make a quick tips tutorial now. So, you make a new circle one, and then you can paste window. There we go. So, that's how you copy and paste windows, Aziz. Now you know. Control D or Alt D. Control D. Nope. Alt D. Nope. Were you just trying to get me to AB the grade? Anyway, so... turn that window off, and Control S because I haven't saved in a while. All right, so now we are going to go make this look nicer, give it some color grading. So we'll increase the contrast a bit, remap the gamma like we do. One thing that I wanted to do is I probably should have done this earlier. All right, so I'll do this after this. So we want a little more saturation maybe. Probably don't need much. Just a little bit. I want to reduce the saturation in the shadows because I feel like those eyes are getting a little bit artifacty. So luminance versus saturation. Reduce it here. Bring it back up around there. And then bring it way back down to the highlights. Not that much. There we go. And saturation versus saturation, the same sort of thing. There we go. Like what that's doing to her lips. Very cool. I'll sort of bring it back in a bit. Bring the whole thing back up some. It's too much, too much. Back down. Cool. Oop, that's not what I wanted. Alt D. Whoa. This is just a still Aziz, so we won't worry about the timeline tracking. I feel like these highlights are a little bit goofy still. Maybe if we reduce the yeah, we'll do this in what's coming up. So Alt S, Alt. Yeah, we're gonna really drag this guy out. We're gonna milk this footage for all it's worth. So we get this. So we're gonna do contouring first. So Alt P. So we're gonna start with our shadows here. So we're basically like and I don't want the eyes in there. That's enough. I could probably deal with that much in there. And width, not width, softness is what I wanted. And we'll see how this looks. So we're just going to sort of reintroduce some of the contrast back to her face, but we're going to do it on our terms. So this is shadows, and now we're going to bring highlights back up some. So Shift H. Blur. Getting her teeth in there, but I'm getting a little bit tired of this shot, so we won't mask that out. Might not even have to. So that is looking gross and too much. If we keep blurring it and blurring it. There we go. So that still looks bad, but we're getting closer. That's why. Looks a little splotchy there. How can I get this out of here? Reintroduce saturation. Do I like what that did? Besides to her teeth, which we're not dealing with right now. I mean, really, we should go through and like whiten her teeth. But I think we've covered a lot of concepts with this already. I just want one more set of stuff, which is sort of, I don't know, something I like to do on beauty things. It'd be kind of hard since what we did earlier. Oh, it's so much nicer to not have that blue there. But maybe we should just bring some of that contouring back. There we go. The other way, that's too much. Okay, cool, nice. Now here, this is not what I was intending on doing, but this might end up actually being what I want to do. I was going to just select the highlights again and then blow them out and then overlay them on top, but I think just adding contrast to the center of the face looks a little bit nicer. That's basically what I was wanting to do there. Yeah. So we'll widen this out a little more. Need to go back to our eyes. Reduce the saturation just a bit. And reduce our, or actually, we're not going to do that. I'm just going to sort of bring this back a little more even with her skin tone. Digital makeup, good stuff. Get those blue greens happening a little bit. Cool. Oh, especially, I think I like that in the window. All right. I think I'm going to call that. Goodness gracious. How much time do we spend on that? But beauty shots take a long time. That's just the nature of the beast. At least in my experience. This is probably a little bit too much over here, so we'll reduce this some. And we'll reduce this some. Out there. Cool. But yeah. We are going to do this. All right. We want Max's folder next. Let's do it. Media. Is Max the one with the... Oh, good. Max is the one with the cool anamorphic footage. I'm excited. This is what I was most excited about. Thanks, Max. There's the sort of stuff that I tend to do for like my job, music video stuff. Done a lot of music videos. Cool. So cool anamorphic lenses. I'm into it. What, Max, what anamorphics were these, man? Because I'm into it. I'm saving up for other stuff now, but you know, if things are, if the cards align, I might pick some up. Gosh darn it, where'd you go? Where'd you go? Video. Oh, is this zoom way out? Cool. All right. So we got 3 different shots here. Oh man, I meant to look up my tutorial for this one on the Justin Bieber look. Anyway, cool. So once again, I don't really know what I want to do with this. I'll probably end up spending way too much time on it, like we did with the last shot. But that's part of the fun of these live streams, right? Is just taking way too much time on stuff. Let me make sure, because I'm pretty sure. So I need to talk into the microphone. Okay, we still have room on the drive that this is recording to. Remind me, you saw this on, you say F3 into the Blackmagic video assist? It seems like pretty nice footage. I'm into it. Oh, that's right. We need to de-squeeze these first. And you said 1.42 on the X. And we need to unlink these. Yep, that looks about right. And I will relink these just because, you know, weird. I don't really feel like changing my timeline settings. That's a lot of work. If I do it this way, will it work? Nope. Okay, time to do some math. Actually, I just assumed they had to do it the way that you told me to, but yeah, there's no preset. Gosh darn it. If there's okay, I'm just gonna quick copy this name, Icasa whatever. Very cool. Yeah. Resolve needs to make this better. Okay. So unlink 1.4. No. Yeah. What was I trying to do? Oh, I know another way I can do this. Sorry, I know that you typed something out in there, but node sizing. Are you kidding me? It's just one thing? But that might work. Okay. Do it backwards from what I was thinking. 1.42. No, gosh darn it. Gosh darn it. I feel so silly. Oh, there we go. There we go. 1.42. That's what I was looking for. Okay. Good. We got it figured out finally. That's right. You said 0.7. Okay. That's a little bit small. 0.71. We'll call that good. Okay. Sorry about all of that. Aziz, good to have you, man. Sorry to have you leave. Sorry, this stream is taking forever, but you know. All that stuff. Filmmaker Media. I will indeed. I'll send that to you. Sometime tonight, probably. But all right, let's get to this. I like the way this looks out of camera. I'm sure clients would be happy with this too, but we're gonna surreal it up. So my immediate thought from this is red state, but I want to do something different than that. So we're just gonna start by playing with stuff, playing with the contrast some. I sort of like where the yeah, we'll do this a fun way. Oh, now I finally read what you said, Max. That's a much smarter way of doing it than what I did. Cool. Max, do you have the studio version of Resolve or the free version? Because if you have the studio version, I'm going to do the color space transform. If not, then I won't. So until then, bow. I will also send it to you. Everyone who I grade here, how I get time to. This will probably be the last ones. Oh, excellent. Max has studio. So we got this. That nice. And then we're going to go, oh, so I'm going to change this to Alexa, Airy log C. Oh, Alexa, stop. What a goob. Okay, and now we'll go to that and log C and rec 709 and rec 709. Ooh, maybe not. sRGB? Let's go with timeline. I'll try to stop being cool. Oh, excuse me. Okay, cool. So now we can grade the Airy log C color space, which will be fun. Really, I mean, the colors look really good just right out of the camera. There's a little bit on the green side, but her skin looks like right on as far as I'm concerned. And you know, yeah, I'm into that. So I'm probably not going to do a whole lot. Yeah, man, this just looks really good, dude. I'm probably just gonna do just a little bit. I really like those lenses. They're fun. Hey, look at this. They start off anamorphic. That's cute. You see how much anamorphic stuff I get to grade all the time. This we can track. And I will turn off zoom because I don't remember this shot. Zooming. Cool. Oh, it's nice to have not compressy footage. This is good. This will be a good one to... Oh. That's what I get. I should have just manually tracked it. Because she doesn't really move at all. Which is nice. Regarding the question of crashes of Resolve, I mean, it's pretty fickle sometimes, but also sometimes it's not. It's just like any other thing. Not really any better or worse than Premiere. It obviously helps to have a decent graphics card. I have two GTX Titan graphics cards with 12 gigs of memory each, even though it won't use both their memory. It'll only use up to 12 gigs of memory. Fun little fact about using multiple graphics cards in Resolve. First of all, it does about 0 extra good stuff. I have two Titans. Adding in the second one gave me like about 1 frame per second faster rendering. And then 2, I also have a GTX 960 in there because I do a lot of 3D work. Well, I occasionally do a lot of 3D work. But if you enable that, then Resolve will only use up to the minimum amount of memory. It'll only use up to the amount of memory that your graphics card with the minimum amount of memory has. So I have to uncheck this one or else it'll only make it 4 gigs. And I did an entire project, like a 6K project. When I had all these in, I was like, yeah, I've got these. I'm going to burn through it. I was like, why is it going so slow with 3 graphics cards? And then I realized it's only using the 4 gigs from there. And I unclicked this graphics card and it went from rendering at like 3 frames per second to rendering at like 34 frames per second. So there you go. There you go. Yeah, I've had lots of problems with DaVinci Resolve and Windows sound and sound drivers in general. If your sound cuts out, you can go into Task Manager, I've found, and restart your audio DG sequence, just end task, and that'll bring it back. I'm not going to do this here because that'll probably crash the entire live stream. But that'll do it there. Cool, so we'll call this good enough there. Alt-O on the outside. Just bring these down a little bit. Nice. Add a little more contrast here. Just sort of engage the face a little more. Since this is a music video, we can be a little more gritty with this, and I can add some sharpening. Ooh, too much. Find detail size way down. Detail amount down. There we go. Just make that pop out some. Especially since those are fun vintage anamorphic lenses. They get a little bit soft. And sometimes we want things to be a little bit less soft. We'll blend this back a little bit. Nice. So just have a little bit of engagement there. And then on the outside, I will reduce the saturation just a bit. I'll maybe add one more vignette around stuff. But really, like I said, I really like the way this looks. And you know, as much as I want to show off like really cool coloring chops on a live stream, sometimes things don't need much. So like even that vignette is, I mean, the lens has a natural vignette to it. I don't need to change that. I mean, I'm just going to sort of leave that as it is and move on to the next shot. I also don't understand why they put Fairlight in this. They're trying to make this into an NLE when it needs to be a better color tool. Add more color tools. Blackmagic. Add more color tools. I've seen cooler color tools out there. The guy that makes 3D LUT Creator or something has emailed me so many times asking me to do a review on the thing, and it looks cool, and I always forget to reply to him. But it has like some really cool color tools in there, and they just need to put those in here. Nobody cares about Fairlight. I majored in audio engineering technologies at Belmont University in Nashville, Tennessee, which is a pretty reputable audio engineering department. I'd never heard about Fairlight at all. And this is from a guy who used Samplitude for a long time, so I know about obscure audio programs. Okay, rant over. I was a Samplitude guy. I'd still have Samplitude on this computer. All right, Samplitude on there. Look at that. But now I'm a Cubase guy. But I know about obscure audio programs. Okay. Fairlight was never on there. Why'd you buy Fairlight? Why'd you buy Fusion? I can kind of understand, but who's going to use that? Like, he's got some cool optical flow tools, but you can't play with them because they're not in the free version. Anyway, okay. So, rant over. Color grading. I like this shot. I mean, I feel bad for not doing more, but sometimes things don't need more. Maybe it needs to be a little brighter. Doesn't really need to be very much brighter. Try. I'll probably like it that it's brighter, but it probably doesn't need to be brighter. Yeah. Yeah, Deathgram knows about Samplitude. Samplitude's where it's at, man. I'll make this a little bit more magenta in the outside node. Like clip-based effects, why don't all NLE, or not NLEs, DAWs have clip-based effects? Then I don't need to create new tracks every time I want, or new automation things. So dumb. Okay. Yeah, I like that. This color space transform tool is really fun. I like it a lot. I'll make a whole tutorial on that someday as well. Ooh, what I should also do is, let's see. Let's try these out. I don't fully get tone mapping yet. I mean, I kind of do, but I'll need to like read the manual a little more before I make a tutorial on that. Okay. Pro Tools has clip-based effects. Oh, shoot. I need to just catch up with the times to get Pro Tools. But I like Cubase so much. That chord track makes me feel like I don't suck at music theory. Okay, so let's get the next one. This will probably be that same sort of deal. You can just copy the grade over. If you don't know this trick already, you probably should. You can middle click on a clip, and that'll copy the grade over. So yeah, this is too bright. Just do this with the offset. Our main clip here. Middle click's so good. Yeah, man, color space transform's cool. I forget the guy's name. It's another guy who has some tutorials on YouTube for DaVinci Resolve. He's only got like 6 or so, but they're really pretty good. I think he's like the default one that people find for orange teal. He does it the log way, but he's got some really good stuff on there. And he does the color space transform thing, which is really cool. It works like maybe 70% of the time for me. And it's a great alternative I've found to doing like the full commitment to an ACES color workflow, to just sort of do it in color space transform. Okay, but for here, let's see what's going on. That looks fine, so we're clipping in. This would probably be a tone mapping situation, wouldn't it? Luminance mapping. Use custom max output. What's this? Oh, cool. Well, I'm just playing around. Yeah, I like that much better. Now the highlights don't clip. Okay. I have a Facebook, but I haven't gotten on it in like a long time. Meissner Media has a Facebook. You can check that out. I will post tutorials to there. This is probably still in frame mode. Oh, no, it's in clip. Cool. Cool. So let's go ahead and track this real quick. Since this is decent footage, let's try and automate it. That would be really nice. It's sticking really good. Sticking good. Yeah, nothing's okay. Cool. It works enough. So now, ooh, I can hear my computer in the other room whirring up. Exciting. So we got this. And then I just keep it off to the side. Cool. She's nice and bright. Overall, wasn't it, let's see. Just gonna make sure that sounds right. Yeah. Juan Malara. You got it, Marcus. That's the guy I was talking about. Check out his tutorials. He's got a couple on there. You can get through them pretty quick, but they're really good. He knows what he's talking about. He's a lot more traditional than me. Since I come from VFX and compositing, I tend to go a little hard on stuff. Max, welcome. Found my channel today. I found my channel several years ago. My goodness, I've been streaming for a long time. I need to go rock climbing. And then take a nap and then do visual effects. All right, so I'm liking this, except for it's just a little too bright. And I think that Max said he wanted this to be dark and moody. Moody. Dark and moody. So we're going to reduce the contrast of this surrounding area a bit. This is sort of like a lot. Yeah, so we need to soften this out some and make it smaller. So if you do this in the clip area, it'll affect the whole thing. And that's sort of pretty stylized. I might bring this back just a bit. To be right about there. But yeah, there you go. That's looking pretty dark and moody. Boy, I really like the colors on that camera and those lenses, man. That looks really good. You said F3, I think. I can check your email. That's still a little much. I'm going to bring the highlights down on here. Yeah. HDR tailor is a whole pain in the butt. Let me tell you something. I have an HDR monitor. Oops, wrong button. Yep. I thought I had a quick key assigned to HDR. It's Adobe RGB. That's HDR. Yeah. Yeah, HDR. Read the part in the Resolve manual about HDR, and you'll just start like, that whole setup's only $2,000. Sony F3. Tell me more about Sony F3. Really? Very interesting, man. Oh, man, that's like a long time ago. I worked with a place. Oh no, they had the painting song. Yeah, look at that. $1,300. Boy, I mean, that's some top-notch looking stuff, man. For $2,000. A plus. But yeah, so like I have this main monitor I have is a 10-bit HDR monitor, and then I have another monitor up here that's an HDR monitor for referencing. Then like I was all planning to do it and getting the whole HDR thing, be like one of the only guys in Nashville that does HDR. And then I saw all of the annoying stuff that went into it, and I was like, oh, I don't think I'm going to put this in the SEO yet. I am sort of revamping the workstation probably soon. I had a bit of an epiphany last night, so I'm probably going to do like a smaller thing, but we'll see. I'll make a video about it if it happens. Boy, man. Yeah. Mark knows how to get ROI on stuff. That said, it was like $2,000. Gosh darn it. Those lenses. I'm just going to go off to the side real quick and eBay up these lenses. I need to check that out. Look at that. So they're sort of all over the place price wise. Oh, are those M42 mount? Cool. Are those brass lenses? And then you put them on top of another thing? How does that work? I wanted to try that because it's like I don't know. But yeah, I mean, after seeing this, I'm inspired to, and if they're, under $1,000, then, we'll see. Because that looks really stinking good. Or at least fits the aesthetic that I am attracted to. Did I didn't de-squeeze this. Oh no, it copied with the grade. There you go. Just needed to go back to that. Ooh, look at that off to the side. Cool. I like that vignetting. Very fun. I'm into this. And that makes this whole composition look better, I think. Yeah. Cool. This one, I think we can give a little more of a vibe to. Going to my default, Cool Shadows 08. Look at that. Now it's cinematic. And I'll send you this LUT with the power grade max. Okay, basically you have a regular lens and place the adapter on top of it. Yeah, email me stuff. I've read about it some, and I've never been like super sure about it, but it looks really good. And I mean, I am low key because you have to like double focus or something, right? I think. I mean, you could if you were like really smart, like out of focus bits over there. There you go. Like right there on the workbench may or may not be a DIY or the continuation of the DIY wireless follow focus. This is taking forever because I'm too dumb at electronics. But I mean, you could like set up calibration and mapping for like both of them so they stay in focus together. Boy, if I was, people need to buy lots of LUTs so I can do less actual work and work on that. Because yeah, I'm into these anamorphic things, man. I'm into it. And boy, does this LUT look good. This is the whole reason to buy the pack. And then this won't look good. I'm just gonna make it wintry. It actually does look pretty cool. Darn it, Theo. So this is a little bit too much, but I'm into it. I feel like what's outside her needs less contrast and darker. Less contrast and then darker. I feel even more wintry. That's too much. So I'll bring this back up. And then we need to reduce this some so it still fits. Very cool. Does this have sharpening? Yeah. Not with this adapter. Ooh, cool. Yeah, so I will reduce some of the fun that I had there. Make this a little less blue. I like it being really blue. Like really blue. Whoa. Yeah, I'm into that. It's a music video. It can have some style, right? Gosh darn, I'm into those lenses. Gosh darn it. I'm trying to save money to buy cool stuff. Hand looks purpley. I totally agree. I saw that earlier. That hand does look like a crazy zombie hand. Let's fix that. Can I cheat? First of all, that is a color space thing. So I will actually do this after the LUT and see if I can just cheat. Ooh, I could probably... Less cheating. Yeah. There you go. And this won't. Let's see. Since we didn't affect anything like really, we don't have to worry about it. Don't even have to do it the right way. Nice. I love it when that happens. Let's see. Are we still getting... Yeah. Cool. Thanks for pointing out the monster hand, Deathgram. Appreciate it. And so does Max, I'm sure. All right, let's move on to the next shot. Okie dokes. For this one, I mean, we'll see. We'll start off with our same thing as before, and then we need to go back and switch this to 0.71. All right, so we will, what's in here? How much do we want to see of this? Is the question. How much can we see? Not much, so it's going to be silhouetted. Get that a little brighter. These we don't need anymore. So those reds, we can bring those back. Is this... I think we're going to just do this normally because this looks, oh, that looks so much better. The problem with creating footage that looks nice is it's hard to do a lot to it. I'm trying to channel Skins. This feels very much like Skins. If you haven't watched Skins, you need to watch Skins. Y'all have probably watched Skins. You have good taste. You've watched potentially almost 2 hours of me goofing around in DaVinci Resolve. Jeez Louise. Yeah, this is definitely the last shot of the live stream. So we should do something to it, but I just don't know what. You could go like really psychedelic and like do some crazy effects. I mean, I haven't pulled out something in a while. I need to do before this. Close enough. So this was about here, right? The other shot, oh, I said something about Justin Bieber. I have a tutorial on the what do you mean look. And Deathgram, this is the other shot. Here's before and after. We didn't do a whole lot to it. Control F. Alt D. Before. After. You could probably make those hands less purple there too. I think it looks fine. And then this was, hey man, this is a thumbnail. I think we could probably reduce the noise on her face a little bit, but I dig how much vibe there is, so I'm fine with just having a little bit of noise. Noise is vibey, man. People are afraid of noise. Oh, you mean like from the other people? That's too much work to go into for now. Well, no, it's not. This is the first guy, so before and after. And this one, we did 2. So this was the orange teal that someone wanted. So after and before. And then we also did a black and white on this before and after. Then we spent a lot of time. You were here for this, right? The beauty grade where we just went crazy on it. Probably did too much, but you can always reduce that. And now we're in these. So these are kind of noisy, but you know, that's just me. So this, I got a grade from the Carnival Power grades. And it's good to use the color space transform for this because I graded them all for log footage. So like for like really flat log footage, because that's what I was working with mostly at the time when I made all these. So this is like, I was going to create a couple versions. So Control Y, delete all these. Alt S until we find one that like is sort of working. This will be too much, too bright. Nah. What I thought. This will be cool. Let's brighten it up some. Cause this has like a bunch of, you see, like crazy psychedelic effects in it. Oop. Noah. That'll be a little subtle. That's cool. I don't mind that. Shift S. I'm just going to give you some options, man. I kind of like that. That's like... Let's roll off those highlights a bit. Oh, the other people that I didn't grade yet. Yeah, we'll run through those. We're done with this. This is why, you know, I used to judge people that use like power grades and LUTs all the time. But then you like start getting actual work, and sometimes it's nice to just have a bunch of grades ready to go. I use these for, I think that, yeah, Aziz left, but I was working for a German guy. He just wasn't happy with anything I was doing. So I just went through the Carnival power grades. I just gave him like 15 like completely different wacky looks, and then we could find one and sort of go and refine from there. I need to make some more normal power grades. I think I need to do a lot of stuff. Like it'd be pretty easy for me to make more products and then make more money. I can make more tutorials, but you know, sometimes it's so much easier to just like do actual work. The LUT that I used in the girl in the forest shot is Cool Shadows 08 from the Swiss LUTs pack, which can be found at meissnermedia.com/products. That is probably my favorite LUT in the entire pack. And what it is mostly, it's got some other stuff, but like the majority of it is going to hue versus hue and taking this and moving it up a bit. So that's most of what you get there. And that makes your blues tealy, which is nice. All right. So yeah, I sort of, this could be fun. I normally don't like this one. Yeah, that's a little bit too matrixy. Gels, it's like, that's too vintagey. That's okay. Remember, will be too vintagey. Ooh. That's got some nice vibe to it. That feels, I'm into that. We could even add these neutral films will be good. They sort of brighten things up. That's too much. Actually, 16 mil, warm 16 mil. Too many LUTs. Denver, you need to make LUT viewer, LUT gallery for Windows already. There you go. Yeah, just sort of give it a little more of that vibe. So that's pretty matrixy. I'm sort of into that. It's got some glow going on, I think. And for this one, I would probably, let's see, where did I do the corrections? It's curves, yeah. So I turn on auto keyframing here, and then I could go through and like say it needs to be brighter here. Darker there, and you sort of do your own auto exposure. Whoa, what happened there? I've never seen that before. Alt click. Cool. I just found out something new. LUT Gallery for Windows is out, you say. I need to send an email to Denver. Thank you very much, Paul. Cool. Boy, that alt clicking the curve sure blew my mind. I'm not sure you guys could tell. That's cool. Yeah. Cool. So there you go. You get 1, 2, 3. 3 different versions of this grade. And I did no work because hashtag Carnival Power Grades. I need to make a tutorial on using Carnival Power Grades with the color space transform because that makes those so much more useful. Carnival Power Grade is also available at MeStreamer.com/products. Okay. So now we will go through and look at the shots of the people that we didn't get to today. We'll see. That one was, I don't know. I don't think we did these. I never even got to look at these. That's cool. Too bad we didn't get to look at these. Those would have been cool to do. Brian, we did. This one would have been an interesting one that a lot of people, it would be really hard. But this is like a really typical sort of thing. Yeah, how can you properly color grade without a waveform? This one was the first one we did. It was cool. I liked it. It's got some vibe. Max, we spent a lot of time on because, gosh darn, they just look so good. Republic of Asia, we did. So we got through a lot of stuff. I didn't get Eli's. Gosh darn it. Eli was the first guy that sent me stuff. But I'm really tired. Eli, are you here? If you're not here, then I'm just going to end it. If you are here, I'll grade one of the shots. You have a couple minutes while I scroll back up through the chat and make sure I didn't miss any interesting questions. Using curves instead of primaries or log controls, just a personal, or do you see advantage of doing it? Says like Daniel. It's just how much control you need, control versus speed. So primary wheels, very fast, not a lot of control. Log wheels, semi-fast, medium control. Curves, kind of slow sometimes. Lots and lots of control. Technically, curves can be pretty fast too. It's not like a huge amount of things, but it's just sort of what you're going for. Normally, I'll start off in primaries. Logs, I'll mainly just use for a couple of specific things, like specific orange teal looks, or mostly just like adding colors into shadows without qualifying stuff. Especially for making LUTs, it's a really nice way of doing that. I feel like I just ended. It sounded like I just ended in the middle of that sentence, but I think I got all the things I wanted to say. I think that I've done most of the questions that I've thought about. Once again, I'm sorry for mispronouncing everyone's name. Yeah. Cool. Okay, so I guess Eli's not in the chat, so I'm not going to be just a bit of the skyline one. Okay. I'll do just a bit. Phew, okay. Revitalized. New timeline. Sorry I didn't hit Control N. Sorry I'm such a poser. Ooh, Blackmagic Pocket Camera. I love the Pocket Camera. Okay, so what do we want to do with this one? This one is mainly just dark, which is hard to deal with. Is this DNG? Oh, thank you. Raw files. ISO 1600. Boy, that's hard, man. So we'll noise reduction, temporal noise reduction, all the way up. Make this better. Always click better. It matters a lot. It matters a lot. Blade Runner. Okay. I'm working on a project right now where the director said, make everything pitch black. And then in color, he said, make everything brighter. Or when we shot it, he said, make everything pitch black, no lights. And then when we colored, he said, everything's too dark. I can't see anything. So it's super noisy. And I realized that clicking this better button really is a huge difference, even if it takes like many hours to render the final thing. But you can see, like, that does a pretty good job of reducing noise. We'll add a little bit of saturation. You said Blade Runner-y, so that's pretty saturated and pretty contrasty. And not like Blackmagic saturation, like gritty saturation. So yeah, I was going to pull up the scopes, but I realized I don't care about the scopes for this one. I just sort of make it look like it's supposed to. It's like really, it's a really particular type of saturation that it has. That's a lot angrier than the Blackmagic camera. So we're getting some fixed pattern noise. That's going to reduce noise a lot. Especially with spatula noise reduction. Better really matters a lot. Let me turn off the audio real quick. Yeah, it's still a little noisy, but I mean, as far as Blade Runner goes, Blade Runner is kind of noisy. We need to make this 23521. Oop. Monitor wants to turn off. Don't turn off. Don't use the TV as a monitor, kids. It seems like a cool idea, but it's not. Regret it every day. For this one, I feel like I should be using the Carnival power grades also. Control Y, because I feel like it's got the right vibe. Ooh, and we can do cool color space transform stuff. Okay, so since we're shooting in RAW, we can change this. Can't we? I'll keep that Blackmagic design. We can't change our. That makes me really sad. I thought we could change that to linear color space. I'm sure. I mean, I can do it with the Ursa footage, and that's cinema DNG. Oh well. So input color space, it's fine. I mean, it's math here. So Blackmagic design film, Blackmagic design film log. Alt S. I want this to go to linear. No, we're going to use power grades. So really, that's what these were made for, was the Blackmagic color space. So we can just pop these on. That's pretty close, but I don't want to deal with that. Pines. And that feels kind of Blade Runner-y. I don't know what's... Oh, that's cool. So yeah, we'll start with that, and then we just need to reduce this stuff here. I feel like that's kind of Blade Runner-y. So what's going on here? This is actually pretty simple. I don't know what's going on here. It says something's going on in here, but I don't think anything's really going on in here. Yeah. So we're using a splitter combiner node, and then we are taking the red, green, and blue channels, and then in the blue channel I put a prism blur, and then just sort of bumped it out, and that gives it a cool vibe. So we turn this off. Looks pretty normal. Turn it on. Crazy. And then just some extra. We got like pushing the lift towards green and the gamma towards green a little bit. But I think that's pretty neat. I feel like that is successfully Blade Runnered up. It's still a little noisy. I will reduce the noise some in here. Temporal noise reduction one. Actually, this we could get by with 2 frames because there's not a lot of motion, so that will help out a lot. And then we'll go to better. We'll make this like 15. And we'll make this one better. It's a little soft. Let's see if we can turn off spatula and if it still looks good. So that's too much there. We can bring it back some. Not enough. We'll add some more sharpening out here afterwards. We'll make it big, chunky sharpening with mid-tone detail. So we'll put it in a node afterwards because we only need it in the parts where we need it. That is the quote of the day. You only need it in the parts where you need it. It's just like that. Alt-D, we'll track this real quick. Be nice and easy. It should be stuff. Boop, 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 boop. I like hearing my computer whir up whenever that happens. Get up. Turn off gallery. Clip, yeah. Move that over just a bit. And we will mid-tone detail there. All right. I think that is successfully Blade Runnered up. Okey-doke. I will get you guys these grades tonight or tomorrow morning. I'm pretty tired now. I'm probably taking a nap like right after that. But anyway, thank you all for hanging out. If anyone stayed around for the entire 2 hours and 12 minutes, then bless your little heart. I barely stayed around for the entire 2 hours and 12 minutes. This is only supposed to be about an hour, but it was fun to grade people's footage. Sorry I didn't get to everyone. Hopefully I'll be doing this more. Eventually it might be like, if we get to like the point where there's like too many submissions, it might be like a suggested donation thing, but we'll see how that goes. We're trying to keep it fun for a while, I think. But you know, the more dollars I can make on YouTube, the less time, or the more time I can devote to not spending time not on YouTube, which is good. Yeah. So once again, I hope you guys enjoyed this. I will have the archive up on YouTube for you to watch through at double or triple speed, which will be much better than this. Run out of words to say, but yeah. So once again, I've been Theo with Meester. Oh, buy stuff at meestermedia.com/products. Once again, I've been Theo with Meester Media. Have a great day, and I will see you next time. Bye.